I mean, you were talking earlier about Michelle Piera versus Khaos Williams. You didn't agree with the decision.
No, I didn't. Okay, so here's why.
Yeah.
Michelle, Chaos Williams won 1 and 2. Okay, I on stats and statistics, Michelle Piera only threw 3 significant strikes in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Chaos Williams, he didn't throw as many strikes, but they were landing. Michel Pierre, he was just moving about so much. He was trying to throw these strikes. He threw some weird, like, rolling kick at one point. And Chaos Williams, he's not a, he doesn't want to take he's a very calculated fighter. He doesn't want to take the risk. He was using a lot of his jab. He was throwing a lot of uppercuts. And there were some points where he actually, hit Michel Pierre pretty good. He opened up a cut on his left side. Just the main thing is, judges scored it unanimously against for Michel Pierre, and a lot of the people were arguing it was because Michel Pierre just happened to score a takedown in the last 10 seconds.
But we talk about how we have strikes that are significant. We have takedowns that are significant. Just like if you press someone up the cage and you don't do anything in the clinch, I wouldn't say it's significant. You're just holding them and the other person is just conserving energy. Whereas if you take someone down in the last 10 seconds, it's not significant. Now, if he was in full mount and he was just bang, 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 about to knock him out or about to submit him, put him in an armbar, and just before he taps, the bell goes, significant.
However, that takedown wasn't. I would say it would have been a significant, but it wasn't like crazy because Khaos Williams was grabbing his hands a lot and he was putting in a couple of punches, but they weren't really doing any damage. Like Michel Pierre, I feel like he took that takedown just as a desperate attempt, to score some points. However, look, argue what you want, but I just don't feel. I feel like the unanimous decision over Khaos Williams was a bit of a joke.
Right.
I thought maybe it would have been a split decision. I felt like, because if you go back and watch that first round, Michel Pierre, he was throwing all these punches, but a lot of them were not landing. Not landing at all. So it's like this. I got to ask you, Jack. Say you throw lots and lots of punches, but less than a third of them land, compared to throwing half as your punches as your opponent, but more than half of them landing. So where does that factor come into play, really?
It's interesting because sometimes, I mean, there's a reason why you show the percentage of significant strikes, because it's relative to how many strikes you've thrown. Because sometimes they'll show, this person threw 300 strikes, but this person threw only 150. But sometimes half of those hit, whereas almost all of them, the other fighter actually managed to land. I would say it doesn't really matter how many are thrown, it's how many land. I would say that. You do show striking accuracy, and it is really nice to put on a poster, look, he's got 80% striking accuracy. It is really good to see. I mean, from a marketing standpoint, but to be honest, I'd say it doesn't really matter. If someone hit you with 50 significant strikes and the other person, if you land 50 significant strikes and they land 30, I would say that the person with the higher significant strikes would win. But there is other minor factors, which is, a little bit of damage and things like that. If you hit 50 and you just walk away with them, it's fine. But if it's a close amount of strikes together, but you got rocked, I would say the person that rocked them would be favored. It gets interesting. MMA doesn't have always the best point system, and we always talk about this, 10-9 and 10-8s and 10-7s and things like that, but they do have to improve it. But I would say, to answer your question, is the amount of significant strikes outweighs a percentage accuracy or striking accuracy. It's not so much damage, it's more so the amount of volume. It's I would say so. It's the amount of volume.
This comes from another point of one of those conversations we had in one of the earlier episodes of judges go into the press conference, because I would have loved to have a judge there or one of the judges to explain why did you score Michel Pereira? Like,
Yeah.
do you think that a takedowns, or if you score, because Michel Pereira attempted 2 takedowns and 2 were successful. I'm saying, was that the deciding factor for you, and explain why? I just feel like we need a little bit more input.
I've been thinking about that lately, and what I thought would be okay for a judge or a ref who has a controversial moment or whatever, and there's a bit of outrage. You could mainly do this with the main event or the co-main event, because there's a little bit more riding on it, or if it's a title fight. But I would say, instead of doing a press conference, because sometimes they don't want to interact with any of the media, I reckon they have a little short report, dot points. Maybe they even just put it on Twitter. Just release it on Twitter, and they say, round 1, this person hit a significant takedown, da-da-da-da-da. It was a 10-9 round. Second round, da-da-da. And they, because in the UFC and most MMA promotions, it's either a 3-round fight or it's a 5-round fight. That's typically how a lot of MMA promotions go. It's not like a Canelo Alvarez versus Callum Smith, where they have 12 rounds of 3 minutes each, and you've got to go, all right, this person won this round, this is why. That's 12 rounds, that's way too much. But if you've got 3 or 5 rounds, it's quite easy to make a short, comprehensive report.
Yes.
And just post it on Twitter, that's it. You don't have to interact with anyone if that's the case, but that's your reasoning why.
Yeah.
I think that should be what happens. If a ref has a controversial decision on why they stopped a fight too early or too late, it's usually too early when stoppages occur. They put their opinion out on Twitter. And it's not just a full-on sentence. It's a report, right? It's at least a decent paragraph or an essay, perhaps in dot point form, and it just says their reasoning why, done. Yeah. And people can start to pick it apart afterwards, which is fine, because they would pick apart a post-fight conference anyway.
Yeah.
But if they don't have the time or the resources, or they don't feel that worthwhile to have a ref or a judge there at the post-fight conference with a fighter and say, hey, this is why I scored it for this fighter in this way, have a dot point report. This is round 1, this is round 2, this is round 3, this is why I scored it, da-da-da, done.
Yeah.
It would be short and easy, and people would be like, I didn't see it from your way. That actually makes sense, or that's bogus. I'm going to pick it apart, but at least I know why you did that.
Yeah. It shows, 1, another person's perspective. 2, and it gives everyone a peace of mind.
Exactly.
Because then you don't have all
especially the fighters. The fighters have a showing. They have a showing.
Yeah.
A fight bonus, and then they have the win bonus.
Yeah, because what is it? Then then it also gives more respect to the judges. You know what I mean? A lot of people will bag the judges, and I'm like, yeah, sometimes I do as well. Sometimes I don't understand why. And when I looked at the face of Khaos Williams, when he found out he lost, he just turned and walked away. And I thought, feel the same, dude. Feel the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because all those hours, of all those years of preparation, all those kicks and punches they sustain in training, all those injuries they get through, and it comes down to some dude writing a number on a scorecard, okay? I'm just saying that we need more. It's what the fighters deserve as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you lost a fight, I mean, when you're in an amateur, sometimes you go up to the judges and you ask for feedback. In a lot of sports, why did I lose? What's wrong? You got to do that on a high level as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, it gives more validation for yourself, and it gives peace of mind to the fighters, because they're the ones at the end of the day actually getting hurt.